Hello, and welcome to Em The Dore, the only podcast that I shamelessly plugged in my Boston Consulting Group interview. My name is Willem.
It's a true story.
That's Chris. And today we have our special guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Drew Weikert.
Yes, sir.
Former Vandy basketball player. Retired.
There we go, baby.
He's back like he never left.
Back like he never left. He's got the polo on. We're feeling good.
It's a nice
We're
polo.
excited to have him. It's going to be an excellent episode.
I'm sure. We're very happy to have Drew on. We missed last week. It was kind of rough. I was very sick. Willem got COVID, but then he didn't really have anything.
Because I'm different.
But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better for those of you who asked. None of you asked. You didn't respond to our Instagram poll, so that really sucks.
We didn't have a poll.
We had a story where I talked about me being sick.
Nobody's gonna say
I expressed no concern. It was ridiculous. We need more fan engagement.
I'm sure somebody went and lit a little candle for you or something.
I hope so. We should light the candle. The candle's gone.
I should bring ours.
We should bring ours, yeah.
Yep.
With that being said, Drew, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Are you excited to be on the show on the tour?
Very excited, just a little nervous. Haven't been on a podcast in a minute, so.
Yeah. So I guess starting, we always try to go, early life into now in basketball. When did you start playing basketball?
So I've been playing since I was born, but I only started playing organized when I was probably in preschool. I was on a kindergarten team, so I've always been playing up. But
How was a kindergarten team?
They were terrible. We were the worst in the league, but that's why I got to play. Yeah.
Did you play on a little hoop or something?
Yeah, it was the mini hoops we played at Lipscomb actually. So
Really?
we had the wristbands.
Oh, this was a whole big event.
Yeah. No,
That's
this was
crazy.
every week. For sure.
I had little league basketball, but I was probably in first or second grade before it started.
I think
They started young.
Yeah, kindergarten league for sure.
Dang.
Yeah.
Was your dad the coach?
My dad was assistant coach, yeah, but Steve Azar, he's kind of a more recognized music artist. He was our head coach.
Really?
So, yeah.
Go.
Yeah, Nashville.
I could be totally wrong because I didn't do as much research as I should have done for this episode. But did your dad not play at Vandy?
He did.
My dad did
70s.
play. Yeah, he played from 79 to 83. So.
Oh, okay.
But he was on scholarship, but we played about the same minutes. So.
You're like, Dad, how many SEC games you start?
Yeah, no, but my dad's high school career was much better than mine. He's from Indiana, so small town, and he probably scored 2,000 points or something back then without the 3-point line. So he's got me beat there.
Back before the 3-pointer.
I don't know where else to put this in. Your cousin is Larry Bird?
He is, yeah. So my third or fourth cousin, but
We call it regular.
yeah, no,
Doesn't
let's say
matter.
cousin, right?
Have you ever used that line on anybody? Be like, my cousin's Larry Bird.
I don't like to bring it up because I don't want to sound cocky, but I do mention it.
You've met him.
I have not met him.
You've never-
Yeah, so he actually.
Cuz get on the podcast.
He was the manager of the Pacers, and they lost so bad one day after I was supposed to meet him that he didn't even show up after for me to talk to him.
He's
Well,
like,
yeah.
you suck. I
He's like, you know what?
I can't meet my cousin. Man. He's disrespecting me.
But he knows who you are.
I don't know.
I mean, we can assume.
I'll just say
That's
that he
better
does,
than we
yeah.
can say about
Have you ever talked to him on the phone or anything? Texted him?
Never. But I still say I'm related, so.
I mean,
Well,
you are.
You got the
related.
blood. That's
Right.
really all that matters.
Exactly.
Larry Bird's blood.
So dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you just played basketball forever, was it oh, my dad played basketball, I want to also, or was it just the big basketball context you were in, or what really made you say, oh, I love this sport?
Well, I mean, I liked it since I was a kid. I played so young, but I played a lot of sports when I was growing up, like soccer, baseball, football, and all that. But when I got to 6th grade, I'll never forget it. I saw it's this AAU team called 147 Million Orphans playing against, another top-ranked 6th grade team, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
But on the team was actually Gavin Schoenwald.
Gavin
Gavin Schoenwald. Back then, he's elite. I mean, he's still elite. But back then, he was being compared. I don't know if y'all know Marvin Bagley.
I don't know,
Marvin
but
Bagley?
So there's a YouTube video said, who's the better player, Marvin Bagley or Gavin Schoenwald? That's how good he was.
It's probably Gavin Schoenwald.
Back then, it might have been. But
Shoot, Marvin Bagley sucks now.
yeah, so I was I was watching them play at NBA actually, and I was like, man, I really want to get into basketball. I didn't play AAU back then. I only played for my school, but that's kind of what made me be like, this is what I want to do.
Gavin Schoenwald's the inspiration. That's
No,
so funny.
for real.
He ended up playing at BA.
He did. Yeah.
with Cam Johnson and Darius Garland. Cam came on and told us a lot about that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
Have
played
you ever
against
like
him
talked to him about it? Being like, you know, made me want to do basketball.
once or twice. Once
There
or
you
twice.
go.
Yeah, because like even before that sixth grade year, I played with and against him
Okay.
like first through fifth grade. So
Yeah.
then when he played sixth grade on this like super great team, I was like, man, that should be me.
You're like that. You're like, who's better, Marvin Bagley or Drew Weikert?
Right, no, exactly. But he had the height on me back then too.
How do you feel about like sixth grade comps like that?
Oh.
Like, you know, like they say like the next LeBron is like a third grader or something ridiculous.
It's
like
crazy
that, you know?
overhyped. But on the same note, even though it's overhyped, they also rated Darius Garland like top point guard back then. So maybe it has some validity. I don't know.
Hey, sometimes they get it right. There
Right.
we go.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
Darius
I just
Garland's
can't
like-
imagine. Like, do you know what I was doing in the 6th grade? I got to think back on that. Because, like,
I was doing
I was
nothing.
playing with
I
Legos,
was.
you know what I mean?
I don't think I had
These
developed my
guys were,
motor
like-
function.
I'm like, I used to, when I was a kid, like, shoot free throws in my backyard, and I'd be happy if I made, like, 4 out of 10 on, like a lowered hoop. I can't imagine, you know what I mean? Like, at that young age, having, like, people look at me for real.
like that.
That's
no.
crazy.
Yeah, like, they're
we've talked to
offering-
people where it's like, yeah, they started talking to me like when I was a freshman in high school. It's never been like, yeah, 6th grade I was compared to Michael Jordan. Like, it's a weird concept to think about within sports.
Right.
Is how young.
I was the chubbiest sixth grader there's ever been. Can you imagine? I would be like, they'd be like, what's his comp? Well, early career Kevin Love, maybe.
That's a good comp right there.
It's good. Something,
Charles
man.
Barkley.
With none of the skill.
Oh goodness. But so you saw him 6th grade, decided to join an AAU team. What was it like to like pursue basketball at that age?
It was tough back then.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, the farther you go, the harder it gets with time management and all that. But even just being a little middle schooler and trying to go to practice at like 5 o'clock and then get home and do homework is still tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I've got a tough test in middle school algebra 1.
Seriously. Yeah.
And I've got to play a bunch of prep school kids. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Wait,
though.
real quick, did you say an AAU team was 147 million orphans?
Yeah, so
That's the name
that's
of
what
the
they
team?
call them
That's
because
so many orphans.
That's what they call them? Like, that isn't the name? That's just what people call
that's the
them?
name because
Okay, I was like...
yeah, I know. So the Oatsfall family, Jeremiah Oatsfall, he's kind of like a Nashville legend too because he played basketball and football at BA.
Okay.
But his family's known for like adopting some orphans from Africa, and they're really involved in all that.
Yeah.
So their team name is kind of like bringing awareness to that. But yeah, 147 million orphans is a funny name.
Is that how many how many orphans there were?
I
Like,
think that's what it is.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I got that number right.
interesting.
You know,
okay.
I didn't realize it had like a deeper meaning. I was like, you know, some people are the tigers,
Right.
like the sharks.
No, they had like
The orphans.
they had a Bible quote on the back, so like they were very into it.
Wow.
There we go.
Definitely
They're committed.
good cause right
That's
there.
dedicated.
Yeah.
Man.
I can't imagine. It's like, okay, team, we got a tough game this weekend. We're playing the orphans. 147 million. Not
Or
to
like-
belittle their cause, their name, but
Right.
that's just funny.
Separate idea. They're like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 147 million orphans.
I'm not gonna speak on that.
Yeah. What was your team name?
The Power back then.
The Power.
The
See, that's a
Power.
little more like on the that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I would
simple.
expect it. That sounds like a 6th grade AAU team, but
Right.
like still, that's, I mean, at least it sounds like a 6th grade AAU team.
When you
and
chant
not-
it, it doesn't sound like you're calling anybody out or being
True.
we can't make problematic comments about the power. You know?
Yeah, we could definitely.
exactly.
That's all. Goodness. But
God.
high school basketball, you went to MBA.
Mhm.
Big place, big school, good
Right.
stuff going on there. You played guys like Darius in high school. What was it like to then, like, would you say the competition was better in regular school or like AAUs where it's like you saw the most big talent?
Well, for me, I didn't play on a circuit or anything in summer, so
Okay.
I mean, we were thinking about doing Adidas, but the circuits are so much higher. Like every player on the circuit is top down, probably better than most of the players on like non-circuit teams. But finishing up algebra at 2 o'clock and then going to play Darius Garland at 5 is
It's tough, I can't imagine.
yeah. I mean, I think Darius definitely like made my school competition higher. You know, you don't play 5 stars if they're not on the circuit.
No.
So I'd say definitely school was harder than, for me at least, AAU.
Yeah.
Whenever Zion was in high school, I would always picture somebody's like just had a really rough like algebra test, and they're like, God, I got it, and then you got to go guard Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
Like, there's just that just sounds like potentially the worst thing you could ever do.
And then popping up on a video with 10 million views
Oh,
the next
yeah.
day for getting
Yeah.
dunked on.
You-
Oh, I hate that. I'd hate that.
Did you ever guard like Darius? Like,
I guarded him a
yourself?
little bit, but honestly,
Ever one-on-one?
yeah, a few times. Yeah, I don't like to talk about those. No, but I let my 2 guard him most of the time.
You're like, you got him in.
Yeah. I gotta worry about the offense. I can't think about defense.
Right, right. You're like, switch.
Right, no, but we didn't even just play Darius. Like, so James Wiseman played at Innsworth for a year, 7-foot
Yeah,
guy
man.
Good grief.
in the NBA
You didn't
now.
have to guard him. That's,
No,
that's
Thank
somebody
God.
bigger
well, we had
problem.
about 2 or 3 guys guarding him.
You got half the team.
Yeah, so he transferred luckily, and then even
Thank goodness.
and then Jordan Bone, who's
Jordan Bone, he went
Yeah.
to UT.
he
I love
went to
Jordan
Innsworth
Bone.
too. So I would actually have to guard him.
He's
But-
fast.
He's the fastest guy I've ever played for sure.
Really?
Darius is like twitch fast, but Jordan Bone is just straight line fast.
That's crazy.
But a lot of comp in Nashville, underrated
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely.
Nashville's a big city for stuff like that.
Mhm.
That you don't like realize until it's like, oh, there's quite a bit here.
Lots of
for
players
stuff
here.
Like that's crazy.
Right.
Who would you say between high school, anything before, and in college, who's the flat out best person you've ever gone up against?
Like
gone up
talent?
against
Like
in a
talent level?
game? Yeah. Like
Yeah.
just absolute straight most talented.
Darius for sure.
There you
but
go.
I mean,
That's an NBA All-Star.
all-star,
right.
Like, you can't get much higher than that.
at the same time though, I mean, against Georgia, I played against Anthony Edwards. So
Oh, jeez.
that's another big time
Yeah,
player right there. And then
definitely.
obviously, like, we'll see how these other guys who just got drafted turn out. But Anthony and Darius, 2 of the best players in the league right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to go against the real ones.
Right.
SEC too. That's like
It's a NBA quality team
Uh-huh.
player every night.
it's a different
so,
type of game.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there any buddy either in high school or college that you went against that like probably was like a a draft projection, like somebody who was like a top pick or something that you just locked up for like a little bit? Did you ever like feel good about yourself afterward? That you were like,
That's a
yeah.
Great question.
accomplishment.
I don't know if like a top pick I'd ever lock. I mean, I was telling y'all the story before the podcast started about when I got to play Darius. Like, I didn't by any means lock him up. I'm not saying that at all.
You locked him up?
No.
Darius?
No. I didn't, in fact, I don't even think I really guarded him.
You
but-
heard it here first.
0 points. Clowns.
No. But as like a senior in high school, when we played Darius and our former coach Bryce Drew was there, I had a good game. I think I had like 16 or 17 points.
Yes, sir.
And like nothing on Cam Johnson because he would guard me. But
But you lit him up.
no, I didn't light him up at all either. But I mean, I had a solid game,
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So I felt pretty good playing against who I think a guy that could play in the NFL one day, Cam Johnson, then obviously Darius. I think 16-17 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Solid
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
No lockup defense, but I think I did my job.
But you did what you had to
You're not there
That's what I'm talking
to
about.
lock up Darius Garland. You're
Right.
there to maybe offset some of the scoring. you
Right,
know?
exactly.
You're there to put up 16 on Cam Johnson's head.
Oh,
You heard it here
All of
first.
them on his head.
I will say actually though, my best game in high school came when I was a sophomore. So that was against Jordan Bone and Desmond Cambridge.
I don't know who that
He's
is,
playing at
but-
Nevada. He's a D1 guy, but he
Right.
might play overseas or something. So I was a little sophomore. One of my first games in high school, I put up 31 points.
Hey.
So I mean, we got blown out, but
You got 31.
it was
Bomb
100 to
score,
40, but you had 31 of those.
yeah, I'll take that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's good stuff.
Coming from Knoxville, like obviously I watched Jordan Bone because I was like a UT fan.
Right.
Watching him in college, like when he was a freshman, was one of the funniest things. I want to know if it's the same in high school, because whenever I would watch him when he was like a freshman before he like developed into a really good point guard, because he's in the league I think right now.
Right.
He would like run really fast and then put up like the hardest layup I've ever seen in my life, and it would either be like perfect or it would just shatter off the backboard and go to like half court. Like man would either go 0 for 11 or he'd go like 9 for 10.
Against us, he never went 0 for 11. I'll say that. but no, he's like one of the fastest guys I've ever played against. But when he would, quick change direction, he'd just start floating on layups, like literally floating. And he probably has the highest. I think he had in the combine.
He's like one. I think he broke the record.
Yeah, highest combine vertical.
Man's
for
like
that year.
man's an athlete.
No, for real. I don't know if he's in the league right now, but I think he's overseas. But
is he really?
That guy can play. Like he's one of the best athletes.
He got drafted. I know that he got drafted with like the last overall
played
pick.
for the Magic and I think the Pistons a little bit.
Yeah.
No, he's
shout out Jordan Bowen.
Get on the podcast.
Elite, right.
What would you say is your best memory or memory that most stands out to you from your pre-college basketball career?
Oh, that's a great question. When I was a junior in high school, my team would win a little bit, but we never, made it to state finals or anything because Darius. But we went to Memphis and we played Christian Brothers. And Christian Brothers all boys school, like crazy school spirit, school pride, and all that. They had this guy who was going to SMU that year, and the whole gym was packed out, like standing room only.
Big show.
Yeah, and they were the #1 team in Memphis that year. Like they could play with Memphis East back then too. It was elite every year. But we went in there as I think the lowest seed, and we upset them in their gym.
Baby.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
And it came down to the final possession, so like last shot for them. And my four guard, Thomas Carr, shout out Thomas Carr, locked up their D1 commit for an air ball at the last second, and we won. So
that's
crazy.
That's the type of stuff you remember forever.
Right, I got goosebumps just thinking about it.
How many do you put up in that game?
I didn't have a great game because they. No, but I did my job though. Like
there you go.
they were putting doubles on me and all that.
There we go.
Of course they were.
There
Typical.
Yeah, that was typical. That was what they needed to do.
10-12 was just enough. So I'll take that.
There we go.
I'll take that.
So then I guess moving to college, how was like the entrance into like college ball?
I started out D3 at Center College in Kentucky. 1 minute outside of Center College is a cow farm, so it did not feel like a college at all.
You had to share the gym with the farmers.
Yeah, right.
Basketball game at 7, cattle sale.
Yeah, they had
9.
a rodeo at 6.
Did you know a guy named Donovan Whiteside?
I know the name, but I don't know.
He went to Center College. I worked with him this summer, and he like played basketball there.
That's funny.
And yeah, he played basketball. He's like 6'5", black. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if he like played well. I didn't look up his stats or anything like that. But he just got he's a 2L, so he's only like he's.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't play with him, but I think I definitely recognize his name. And actually at Belmont, where I'm at right now, another guy from Center that played basketball with me is there.
Really?
So yeah,
No
there's a big natural connection with Center, I guess. But
the pipeline.
Yeah. No, but like school-wise, it was easy, I think, because like NBA is obviously a really good school, but like sports, me and the coach did not get along. I don't know if I'm gonna trash him right now, but
trash the coach. We're here to trash Center College's coach.
Man, like. The guy didn't think I could play.
He just thought you were some bum?
Yeah, he thought I was a bum. I think I was, third or fourth string point guard over there, and like,
You were better than that, man.
I mean, I got
not to disrespect Center College.
Right, Greg Mason, great coach for small town D3 guy, but
I mean, it's just totally different.
Oh, it's so
You're
different.
playing at Center in Kentucky versus FCC. You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
It's a bit of a different game.
No,
you know what I mean?
I hold a grudge though, because I think if I played my freshman year, I probably would have stayed. But I played 2 games. One of them was against a clerical college, so against guys that
guys who had like they had like vows of celibacy on the court.
Exactly. Yeah. Team prayer before the games and after.
Can't imagine that one.
It's great, but yeah, no. And then another one against a terrible school, and I didn't even put up a shot as a freshman because like I played 5 minutes,
Yeah.
But
I'd be taking my shot every time I got past the ball.
Right.
I'd be like, I'm on the court.
No, but the people there are great, just not the coaches, I don't think.
Not a perfect situation. So then, when you decide to leave the program, did you come to Vandy just for like the academics, or were you like, hey, I can also like play ball here?
Shot in the dark. Like I knew that they were gonna have a new coach because that year with Bryce Drew wasn't too good.
It was pretty bad.
I love Bryce Drew, but it just didn't work out that year.
Go.
Yeah, Darius's injury and all that. But new coaching staff, I didn't know any of them, so I think they told me they were having walk-on tryouts.
There we go.
So I was like, I guess I'll go to that.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah, see how
What's
it goes.
a walk-on tryout like? If a guy like, say, me, were to go to a walk-on tryout, what would it be like?
So my walk-on tryout was right after the team just got done practicing.
Okay.
So they had our head assistant coach, Adam Mazzari. He's like our skill guy. He ran us through a workout for like 30, 45 minutes. And I was gassed. Like I was used to going to fraternity stuff, and I went through the ringer that semester before I tried out. So I was breathing pretty heavy. But they did like skill work, and then at the end we did some like 3-on-3 stuff.
There we go.
And I called my dad afterwards. I was like, Dad, I don't think I'm playing basketball anymore. Literally, yeah. I remember almost in tears outside of Memorial Gym, just being like, Dad, I might not be doing this thing much longer. But, they called me the next week and said, you're on the team. I was like, oh my, really?
you're like, y'all need players?
Y'all are taking me? Really? Yeah, but...
hey, but you made it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Did they take just you, or was it like you and another guy that made it?
So there were 6 of us that tried out, and they took me and a guy named Trace Arbuckle. And Trace stuck around for a little bit, ended up leaving. It's walk-on life stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
But... Trace is kind of like me, just a little white guy that can shoot.
There we go.
But they took 2 of us, but not both of us lasted. I mean,
well, you were there for 3 years.
Right.
You ended up with a scholarship.
I'll
say
take
that's a pretty successful run there.
Yeah. No, Trace was good, but it's not everybody's thing. It's a big time commitment for sure.
Yeah, it's SEC basketball. Right. It gets serious at that point.
Right.
What was it like to go from I just played in Kentucky. I didn't play for this little bit. Now I'm in the SEC.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where you're like, shoot, I gotta focus right here?
Well, man, one day we were learning plays because they had us sit on the sideline and watch all the plays, all the drills, everything. Because I wasn't cleared for eligibility yet.
Okay.
And then the first day that I came to practice, they expected me to know the whole playbook. I don't know if y'all know about Stack's playbooks, but there are about 100, 200 plays in there.
Really?
No way.
Yeah, so when I told, Maz, the same guy who ran the workout, I was like, I don't know the 3 spot. I'm a 2 guard or a 1 guard. Man, I've never been dug into so much in my life. But
He was like, this is practice 1.
yeah, practice 1. I'm getting killed
For
by
not
Maz.
knowing 3?
Yeah.
Were you ever put at the 3?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah. But I learned the 3.
There you go.
You could have played the 3.
As much
Theoretically.
as Adam's a tough coach, same with Stack, but Adam's, different breed. But he makes you better for sure.
Yeah, it takes a level of intensity to get what they need. You know what I mean? You gotta produce in the SEC.
So how quickly
like
did you
that.
learn that playbook?
I watched Huddle every night for about 2 hours. It was like a full class, So I mean, honestly, I didn't learn it even as a senior because they add new plays and they tweak little things every single practice. They'll be like, "No, Scotty, I want to look at this play instead. I want to see you do this. I want to see you drive baseline instead, drive middle." It's like, how do you keep in track all those different variations and plays?
To the average fan. Wait, hold on.
And the most respectful way to ask it, do you think Stack knows all the intricacies of all of his plays?
No, he doesn't.
He can't know 5 spots in 200 plays that in his mind are always shifting.
That's why he's got Nikki Gross, his special assistant. Any time you have a question about play, I would always go ask Nikki because she knows every play.
My memory ain't that good.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Oh, is that the
She used to coach.
Yeah.
NBA.
But we've seen her on the court. She's the other one in the suits on the court.
Yes.
Exactly.
She
Yeah.
dresses really well.
Yeah, she
does.
dresses really
Suit
well.
every time. Yeah.
It's impressive.
No, she did G League with the Memphis team, I think, and then Stack kind of found her one day and was like, "You're taking you under my wing." So
There we go.
yeah, she's the GOAT though. She knows everything.
Yeah, I really like the
That's
staff they've got.
Yeah.
I think y'all have a really good with Stack, with her, with everybody. It's a nice, it's setting you up for success.
Right. We do have a lot of staff. That's something unique about Vandy basketball, and I respect all of them, and they're all good at their job. It's just eventually the team's got to start playing well. It's the staff can only do so much.
You're like, can
Right.
we win? Can we win a couple?
Okay, in fairness, Willem and I come back to this game often on the podcast, but the game you guys played against Kentucky in the SEC tournament last year.
I hated that game. I hate those refs.
Okay, so like the team was just as mad as like all the fans were.
Oh, we were pissed, yeah.
Because like there was no reason that Vandy shouldn't win that game.
I mean, Kentucky was really good, except when they
sure.
play a 14 seed apparently.
Yeah.
But I mean,
St. Peter's, baby.
it's
Like you guys would have. I have a firm belief that Vandy would have been a tournament team if they won that game.
No, I think we would have.
Why?
At least give. I mean, you say that though, but A&M looked like a tournament team too.
Was A&M not on the tournament?
They were NIT.
But they got bumped really quickly in that tournament, did they not?
In the SEC, they went to the finals and lost.
They
I
did
think.
really well.
Yeah, so they actually looked like the best team for a while. I think they just got tired because they had to play
Yeah, they
5
played
straight
5
days.
straight
I remember they started winning a lot more, and I'm like, that was our thing. I thought we
Right.
were gonna get in because that now they're doing it. It's gonna look as
Yeah.
impressive when we
No, I still think they would have gotten because we were like
It was
a top NIT team, were we not?
We just beat Bama.
Alabama. That
They're
was
ranked.
huge.
I think Bama's overrated too.
Bama was
I think they were-
overrated.
Yeah.
Madly
They had one
overrated.
player on their team. I
Nate
don't remember his
Oates
name.
Is their coach?
Yeah.
Right?
He was a really fast guy on their
Heath-
team. Their
I
point
think
guard.
they just got new. Or no, they had Nate Oates. That's right. They had JD Davidson, who is in the
Yes.
NBA now.
That's not who I'm thinking of though.
They had a few. They had JD Shackelford, left-handed shooter, who's NBA talent too.
Mm.
They had a bunch of guys though.
They're a darn good team. But
Oh.
like,
You know what I'm
Javon
talking
Quinterly?
Yeah, Quinterly.
Yeah,
Quinterly.
Quinterly was lighting
Good
everybody
grief.
up back
No.
like in that tournament.
I mean, he was so. Come back to those rankings. He's a 5-star, and he's got one of the coolest mixtapes I've ever seen.
Really?
So like, I don't know how you stay in front of that guy.
no, he's so fast.
Yeah. But,
He was cooking everybody.
they
in
did.
that
They had
tournament.
players on that Alabama team. I think they were overrated still. Though.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I didn't have huge faith in them. I think I picked them to go pretty.
I had him to lose first round. So.
We
Really? Ain't no way. So what? I know we're skipping. Okay, we'll come back to this tournament way later. We're getting ahead of
Oh
ourselves.
yeah, my bad.
So
my
when
bad.
you, as a sophomore, you're now in this program, you're training all the time. There's the mental aspect where you're like, I gotta know 200 plays. What was it like physically to be like, I have to be in physical shape to be in the SEC?
I was not in physical shape to be in the SEC.
There we go. There we go.
I had put on some weight from rushing pads for sure.
There we go.
So I was about 5-10 pounds overweight. But not only just like being able to run and do all that, but like I fell asleep in film too many times that year because I was doing pre-med, like taking bio, all that. So
You were a pre-med student and a walk.
I was, yeah. I'm not in medical
Damn.
school right now, am I? But
fair.
so
well, now you're law.
yeah,
You were pre-law.
I had to switch.
And-
Pre-law
That's
is a little
great.
bit easier than pre-med.
I mean,
Yeah. No, even though in like my senior year, I'd have to come back from practice and study LSAT for an hour, 2 hours, and
When did you take
you
your
went through
LSAT?
it.
I did it in October, so right before my birthday and right before the season got way out of hand. So it was good timing, I think.
Yeah.
Get it done. Yeah,
Yeah.
get it done before everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
No more LSAT talk. My bad. This is a sports podcast.
And now we're breaking off into the law segment. Chris is gonna ask him his opinions on the law.
Right.
God.
Sophomore year, as a walk-on, how much game time did you see, and what was it like to go into these games and be like, this is the dream? You know what I mean? Or was it like,
It was not
this
the
is
dream.
not the dream. This is crazy.
It was not the dream. I played 50 seconds against Buffalo in a blowout, and then
Okay.
I
You get a point?
think
Throw up a shot?
I threw up a shot and
There
it
we go.
hit the
There we go,
backboard.
baby.
Didn't
Okay,
hit the
that's
rim.
enough.
Hit backboard in the SEC.
Hurt my 3-point percentage though.
Like 0 for 0.
Right.
Or 0 for 1.
Yeah.
That's a 0%.
Yeah, and then I played a preseason game, but
There you
I
go.
didn't. I don't think I shot that time either. But I expected that to be my my tenure at Vandy basketball as a sophomore. I thought I was done.
Mhm.
And then game against Georgia, two of the worst teams in the SEC that year.
Oh yeah, Georgia was really bad.
Georgia was something.
Even with Anthony Edwards, supposed to be a #1 pick, I was like, I would do workouts before games, like lifts with the coach because they're like, oh, you're not playing, like let's just get a workout in and try to stay in shape for practice. So I did all that, and then
They're like, get in. You're like,
and then Jordan gets in foul trouble, and Stack looks down the bench. I'm like trying to duck my head back, and he goes, Drewski, get in. I'll go, what do you say?
you're like, oh.
Yeah.
He's not here today, coach.
Yeah, no, but because I barely, I played a little bit in practice, but, we do scrimmages and all that, but I never really thought for sure I'd be playing in an SEC game ever. And funny story, also my grandparents, my grandfather's got Parkinson's, they live in Indiana, so it's hard for them to come see me play. That was the one time they've ever made the trip from Indiana to Nashville for that one game.
For Georgia, the one
game. I had no idea. My dad was like, Pappy, don't expect much. Like, he's not going to play. I was like, so don't expect him to get in. Just come to see him, after the game and all that. But
and there you are.
There I am playing against Anthony Edwards, and I made a steal that game as a buzzer beater at the halftime.
There we go, baby.
So,
there we go.
Yeah, so I got my first points, and my grandparents got to see me play for the first time.
Were your first points a 3?
Cool.
No, it was a layup at the very end.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hype.
Let's go.
What was it like to be like, okay, these are my first points? Was it like,
was it
let's
nervous?
hope I get a couple more of these, or was it like, I'm just going to
I didn't go back in after
forever, baby.
I did not go back in that game after that. But
you got the buzzer beater steal, and then they were like, all right, you're done for the day.
You're done. Jordan's back out of foul
moving
trouble. Right. But no, I was just happy I played. After that, I kind of had a effort mentality. It was like,
you were like, this is great.
If I see the goal, I'm throwing it up. So next game, I played against Missouri. Missouri wasn't too good either.
Conzo Martin.
Yeah, but they weren't too good. But I got 2 points out of that game too. So I was
go.
like, maybe I can do it again. And then I didn't do it again.
You're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. No, but
I'm a performer.
that 3-game stretch was beyond anything I'd ever imagined would happen. Like, I had no expectations of playing, no expectations of taking a shot. And then in 3 games, I'd play and score more points than I did at my D3 school.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's crazy. And then, so what's the, process for next year? Is there, an assumption that you're like, yeah, they'll, invite me back to be a walk-on? Or do you have to, retry out? Or, what's it like to get back on the team?
I was 50-50. I didn't know if I would have to try out again or if I just have the spot. I mean, to me, I thought that I should have the spot just from playing a little bit,
You're like, I got in the game.
Points, man.
Right.
I'm in.
And I think the staff always had it in mind that I would come back and, be able to play. So I'm thankful for that. But I also, in my mind, because, I just showed that I could play a little bit, I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a couple more chances next year.
Yeah.
We'll get an increased role.
Yeah, and I did not. I mean,
did you have a decreased role, or was it just about the same?
It was decreased. COVID kind of screwed me over because I got COVID in January.
Oh, jeez.
And I just, I recovered, but I was still out of shape. Couldn't run. My lungs were killing me. But, COVID definitely ruined that year for me, for sure.
Yeah, messes some stuff up, doesn't it? That's crazy.
It does. Yeah.
And so that was your second of your 3 years there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember chronologically how life works.
Right.
So that's that. And then coming into your senior season, was it any different, or was it more like, okay, let's just get on the team, put up some more points, get some stuff?
It was,
or was it like, man, this is my senior year. Maybe I'm going to do a little more here.
No, I just thought I was going to enjoy my senior year off the court.
There you go.
They're all like, it's going to be a good academic year.
Right.
And they're like, all right, come
LSAT, baby. LSAT.
Right. Yeah, first semester I had to schedule a class during practice. I had to. But so I'd leave after 30 minutes of practice, go to
Good
class,
work, boys.
come back just in time for them to be, breaking the huddle and leaving. So
There we go.
yeah, so I didn't get too much work the first semester, and then in Hawaii, I got one of our scholarship players left the team, so there was a free scholarship. I didn't even think about it.
Who left the team?
It was Peyton Daniels.
Oh, I remember that
That's
actually.
Stephen F., didn't he?
Stephen F. Austin, yeah. I think he's at somewhere else now,
That was
but
interesting.
He was
a player. He was okay.
he was a
I
hooper.
was excited. Yeah.
He's just,
And then
other
things
stuff.
I'm
happened.
not trying to air Peyton Daniels or
Yeah,
anything on
no,
the
great player.
podcast.
For sure.
Yeah, I think I might have DM'd him one time. He's like, you want to come on the podcast? And I was like, shoot, I gotta unsend that. But it was Christmas Eve, wasn't it? And so you're at this dinner. It's like, this is just a little Christmas Eve team dinner.
We're in Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
In
Did you have any idea?
I had no
What
clue.
happened?
I had literally no clue. I just, it was Christmas Eve. I was like, we're probably just going to go celebrate. Stack's a big family-oriented,
Yeah, hang with the family.
faith-based guy, And then he goes, before the meal, he just starts talking about, got a scholarship open, but we didn't know if we were going to give it to this guy. he was saying something about my weak leg or something.
I rewatched the video this morning. He's like, "There's a guy has the weakest leg." And I was like, "He's dissing you off the bat."
I know.
And then you're like, got mentioned to him. Now you got the strongest on the team. I don't even know what he's talking about.
He's
like,
talking
what situationally he's saying. I'm like, I have to wait to start this out. Interesting.
So he was mad because I wouldn't take enough charges in practice.
Oh.
So he'd say, "Oh, you stick your little weak ass leg out." Oh, sorry, weak leg out there, and you're like, "Why don't you take charge? Like, we need the points. Like, you're not gonna get in foul trouble. So take the charge." He's like,
was it hard to hear that?
Yeah.
Was it ever like? Well, I can get in foul trouble, Stack.
Nah, I agreed.
You're like, shoot, he's got a point.
No, he was right, but I probably should have taken some more charges, and I did. But but when he was saying that, I was like, who's he talking about? Like, I kind of had my head down. I wasn't really paying attention. I was pretty hungry, you know.
You're like, where's the food coming?
That's the food. Where are they hiding?
And he goes, "Drew, we're giving to you." I was like, what? So Stacks caught me off guard a few times, for
That's
sure.
crazy. That's gotta be something you'll take forever. Like,
that video I'll never forget.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, no, and then it's like, I guess I have to give a little speech afterwards. I don't really know what to say. Like,
What'd you say?
I was like, "Oh man, I appreciate all y'all. You know, you'll be family. You know, beyond this next year and all that." Like, I'm just talking.
Well, yeah. You say what you can say.
Right, but I was shook, and then my mom started crying over there. I was like, "Dang, like this really happened."
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what, like, was it like in that moment you're like, I'm a scholarship athlete at an SEC school, or did it take some time to like sink in? You're like, shoot, what?
It didn't sink in for a while. I was on that trip. I was roommates with Q, and I was just talking to him at night. I was like, it still doesn't feel real. Like, even now, I don't even think, like, man, I was a scholarship player in the SEC. Like, I never thought that would happen.
It's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Like, still, you know, half a year later, I'm like, whoa, did I really do all that?
Other than like that title of being like a scholarship athlete, did it like do much for you? Because like I don't know what you like, you know, your family situation is or anything like that, but like Vandy gives like a lot through opportunity based, like, you know, view. And so like if I get a scholarship, like if I was like an athlete, if I was an athlete and I got like a scholarship, it'd get like, it would give like all of like $4,000 back to like my, you know, thing. Like I don't know if it's necessarily like the huge like monetary thing. Like did it like change your life a little bit, or like was it just like a mental thing of being like, you know, I'm that guy?
For me, I mean, like my family's, you know, not doing bad. So
Your dad's a doctor?
My dad's a doctor at Vandy too, so you get a scholarship for that.
Oh, okay.
So like I got a discount, but I mean, we're not going to turn down however many.
No, of course not.
Plus
was it like a full ride or like what?
The athletic was a full ride. So I mean, but I'd already, like, it was kind of low just because my dad's such in a good spot. But for me as a player, it was all mental.
Yeah.
Because back then I used to feel like, in fact, you know, my mentor for basketball walk-ons was Isaiah Rice. So he was a walk-on before I'd got to the team, and he was basically like telling me what I needed to do to survive being a walk-on. And everything I learned up from him worked out perfectly. And then that night that I got a scholarship, it all went down the drain.
You were like, what do I do now?
Like, I did not learn how to be a scholarship player. Where's my mentor now?
Right. So I definitely had to, you know, step my preparation up for practice every day, and, you know.
Were you expected more of now that you had that scholarship?
Definitely, yeah. The coaches were like, well, you know, you kind of owe us stuff now, and I don't blame them. Like, I did.
Well, yeah.
So I kind of had to focus a lot more on being prepared every day for, you know, whatever twist Stack wants to put in the playbook or whatever.
Like, now you really need to know it.
Right.
And then you started 2 straight games after that.
I did, yeah.
You started 2 straight games in SEC games.
Right.
What was it? Florida.
The first game was Tennessee. I think they were ranked top 10 maybe that game.
That was a good Tennessee team.
That was
what year
good.
Was that?
That was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. So they had Vescovi and Chandler and all those, you know. They had
Kelly Chandler should have stayed at Tennessee.
They had a squad of
Yeah,
guys.
he should have, yeah.
If Chandler stayed at Tennessee, he would have been a top 3 pick this year. That's okay.
So, when did they, like, tell you, like, hey, you're getting the start?
2 hours before the game.
Did you think you were going to play?
Hell no.
You were saying, you were like, oh, okay.
No.
You were thinking to yourself, you're like, when's my pregame workout?
No, I woke up from a nap, like, you know, super tired from class and all that. Walk over and, you know, half asleep, still a pregame meal. And, I hadn't played since, I don't even know, like, November, maybe.
Okay.
maybe Alabama State.
It'd have been a little bit.
Yeah.
State, there we
Alabama
go.
State. I played maybe 3 minutes that game too, so I'm a little rusty, you know. And, yeah, so I walk over pregame meal, and Stag normally doesn't like talk, strategy pregame meal. He saves that before the game, like a couple hours before. But pregame meal, he brings us all over. You know, we're still eating our food, and we're watching some film. He starts drawing up a play. He goes, all right, we need Scotty up top. We need Jordan right over here. We're going to go with Q down low. We need to shoot him in the corner. Drewski, you're going to be here. I go, what? What did you say? It's just like that thing sophomore year against Georgia. I'm like, me, really? Like, why?
Were you like, oh, don't you mean you like this other guy?
Yeah, I was like, you talking about like Shane or something?
You're like, you can put Miles over there?
Yeah, right. But no, I was totally caught off guard. And right after I called my dad, I was like, Dad, you might want to watch this game.
Turn on TV.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What was it like? Like, I have no athletic background, if you can't tell by looking at me. Like, I imagine, like, standing there at the, jump ball in the beginning of the game, being like, I'm starting a game right here. Like, it's, like, in that moment, like, in my mind, it's just crazy.
Right. No. And Tennessee's lineup was loaded this year.
Yeah. Who were you
It
matched up against?
It was Vescovi, Chandler.
Yeah.
And they had Josiah Jordan James.
What's the big
John.
white guy? Fulkerson. Yeah.
Was Fulke
Euros.
starting at that point?
I think he was. I got a box out foul on Fulkerson. I still don't know how I box out Fulkerson, but anyway. But there was somebody else that was
Fulkerson in his 12th year at UT.
Seriously,
29-year-old
you got a wife
John
and 3 kids or
Fulkerson.
something, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
You're like, I'm not boxing on
Yeah, man. I remember watching him when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah,
playing.
This is my hero.
Fulke's been playing forever.
Yeah, no, but
Surprised he's
just
still not on the team somehow.
yeah.
But
lining up against those guys, I was just like, this cannot be happening. And like I was guarding Vescovi. Vescovi's 4-star international guy, supposed to one day play NBA or overseas. It's like, I'm trying to guard this guy. Like,
Stop him from scoring. Yep,
Yeah.
that guy.
Right. I did pretty well on the ball. I think I had a
There you
couple
go.
steals against him, but
let's go.
like my offense, I think I had one shot and it was just a prayer.
Yeah.
I was so nervous to shoot the ball. With Scotty out there, I was like, maybe Scotty should be taking the shot.
Scotty's got it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. How many minutes did you get that game?
I want to say like maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8. I didn't play too much. Just I was kind of like there to throw him off, I think.
There we go.
You're like, what's the surprise of this?
The real thing was like bringing energy on defense because I mean
There you
I'm
go, yeah.
not the best on ball defender, but like I'm gonna try my best to stop you from driving middle.
Yeah.
And like our freshmen are great players. Like Shane was really good, but it's like as a freshman you can't really understand like Stack needs you to not let them drive middle, so you better not let them drive middle or he's gonna
At
take
all
you out.
costs, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean I tried my best to follow the game plan, but. I'm not the fastest player. There's no
You're
lie.
playing against some talent.
Mhm.
You're playing against talent.
Every game, yeah.
Day in, day out. Crazy.
Yeah.
What was it like after the game, looking back and being like, got a good start there, boys. That was nice.
Yeah.
Or was it like, I never want to do that again? Like, what was the emotion?
I had a couple more games left in me to start.
You were
We like
oh.
start number 1.
Right.
Win or loss,
Like,
win for
one
that.
of many.
Yeah, no, but I like talking to my dad after the game really helped because
There you go.
my dad played about the same that I did when he played, so
Did he start ever?
I don't think he did. I mean,
Ooh.
but
You're
I'm
you
gonna
rub
hold
that,
that
you rub
against-
that in at all?
he's a better shooter than me, so I can't say anything. But no, my dad like really told me like, oh, you did great out there. Like your defense was solid, all this stuff. Like you did your job. Sometimes. This is a big thing. Like
Yeah.
you can have only so many guys that need the ball in their hands and can be the playmaker and the scorer. Like some guys just need to follow orders. That's how it is.
It's a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everybody in the team is going to put up 25 points a game.
Yeah.
That's
Scottie
the
Pippen
problem
Jr.,
with
you know what I mean?
why people didn't like the Westbrook to the Lakers because
Yeah.
there's too many like ball.
Too many, yeah.
Yeah,
Ball-headed guys.
I was worried about the Nets when they had all 3 of those guys
Right.
because I'm like, they're gonna all take 50 shots a game.
Right.
You need the team guy. Like I think Quentin
Mhm.
is the epitome of a guy that I would want on my team. Where like
Right.
he knows his role and he knows what he needs to do, and it's like that's what you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
no.
what you did. You did what you needed to do.
I'll take that comparison to Q. I'll
There you
take
go.
that. Yeah,
I
no,
like you.
but even
He seemed like a nice guy.
He's a super nice guy. He's a nerd though.
I see him like walking sometimes. And I'm like, oh hey, I know that.
I realize he's 6'10", yeah.
I see him more often than any other athlete. I don't know why. I'm like, well, there's Quentin.
He's always in class.
I'm not sure why I keep seeing him. Didn't he just graduate with like a big engineering degree or something difficult sounding?
Yeah, he did engineering and then he's doing a grad program in engineering
Holy
here. So
moly.
he's a smart guy. I'm definitely gonna keep in contact with him. See where he goes.
Crazy.
Yeah, but like you were saying though, you know, it also helps to have some guys that, you know, can step up and make some plays too. Like Liam, you know, Q and Liam I think are total opposite players.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
I think that's so helpful to have on the team. Like, you know, this year we don't have Scotty, so it's like, you know, if we have another playmaker in there with Q, then they'll really complement each other.
Q
but
can
if,
make some big plays.
yeah, but if we have, you know, some younger guys in there and put Liam in, like Liam can make some plays.
Do you feel like Jordan can also step up into that role?
Definitely, yeah. I think Jordan, I've been saying it for a couple of years now, but I think this is the year that Jordan shows he's an NBA talent. Like 6'5", pure muscle.
Did you see the freaking run in the SEC tournament that he did?
Yeah.
It was insane.
Not to be rude, but Scotty couldn't hit a shot that tournament.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah, and like that, I know that we were like, just give Jordan the ball.
Oh yeah.
We were just like, because he was going like, he was like 11 for like 14.
The Kentucky game where it's
like
like
Kentucky.
He's 9 of 10. Scotty's like 2 of 12.
Yeah. Shots just don't fall sometimes.
Sometimes your shots don't fall. But
Yeah.
what you have to do is get the ball to the guy who
Yeah.
is making all of his shots.
Yeah.
But we're almost there. We keep jumping ahead. That's my bad. Your second start.
Yeah.
That was Florida, right?
It was Florida.
We watched that game at your aunt's house.
Yeah, it was a bad game.
It was at Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
It's tough to play down there, I assume.
They were lining up outside the stadium before our bus even pulled in.
Really?
And Florida wasn't even ranked.
Florida fans are something
I
else.
didn't think they were a great team.
No,
They're
they
not.
weren't.
They have like one point guard that was like
They're
pretty
just
solid.
something. And he didn't even play that game, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
he
their
didn't.
big guy. Somebody didn't play.
Yeah,
Colin
the
Castleton
Castleton.
didn't play.
Yes,
Yeah.
Castleton.
Yeah.
That was so. That was the very next game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, you had just gotten
Did
the
you get
start.
any more notice that time, or just like a couple hours before? You're like,
Or like, were you expecting it that time? You were like, yeah, I'm just a starter now.
No, I didn't expect it still. I mean, we still did like scrimmages before in practice. So he splits it up black team and white team. So black team's always the starters and white team's kind of like, you know, if you play well enough, you could play.
Yeah.
Like Gabe Dorsey played, you know, hit 5 straight threes in practice and started the next game.
yeah.
So
Gabe
stuff like
Dorsey's
that.
a player.
Yeah, you know,
I like him.
Yeah, he's good. He just, you know, freshman struggles. That happens to everybody. But yeah, so I played with black team a little bit, so I kind of knew like, oh, maybe I'll play again.
You're like,
Yeah,
He's running me with the ones. I might get there.
maybe, who knows? But yeah, so he ended up telling me like a couple days before, so I was a little bit more prepared
There you
that
go.
time.
You're like not gonna take a big nap beforehand.
Right.
You're gonna get in the zone.
Yeah. So yeah, drink some coffee before. It was a morning game. Those are always
Oh
tough.
yeah, it was early.
It's weirdly early.
Yeah.
Because that was also the day the Titans lost to the Bengals.
Tragic. Yeah.
That was rough. It was rough for me.
What was it different the second time? Was it like, I mean, like, did the nerves go away at all, or are you still like, it's the
Dude,
SEC boys?
it was pretty much the same. Just because we weren't playing in Memorial, we're playing in Florida Exact Tech
that's
Arena, I
small.
think, and they were packed it out. And Florida's always scared to play in. We've never won there really. So we always get blown out. But yeah, it was. And then even I can't remember their point guard's name, but I mean, even when they're having a down year, like they still have crazy talent.
They've got talent.
Yeah, regardless.
Everybody still always has like those guys that are just really, really good.
Right.
It's just who's like really got like that good like game plan and like
Who
chemistry
should put it
together.
together? I don't know their coach off the top of my head.
I couldn't.
Got a new coach from
Really?
some Cal school, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm scared.
God, I
of
hate
him this
Florida.
year.
I hate Florida. I grew up a UT fan. I hate Florida.
I'll
I
root
hate
against
Florida, too.
Florida and almost everything.
I would root for Alabama against Florida, and I hate
I agree to
Alabama
that.
too.
Did you play, how long did you play that game?
I played probably 10 minutes.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
I had solid.
Rolls increasing.
Yeah,
there.
just
There
a
we
little
go.
bit. I mean, I had a solid game. I think they never credited me for a block, but I had my only career block that game. So
I think I remember that.
yeah, I had a block.
Oh yeah,
from
because
behind
we
him.
were just
We
like
watched
we
the
were
game
like
and
Drew
we're like-
Weikert block.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about,
It
boys.
was crazy.
Yeah,
That's
but they
what
never
I'm
gave it
talking
to me.
about.
So like, NCAA refs watching this. Go
I'm about to go rewatch the whole game just to like.
I'm gonna send an email. I'm gonna be like, dear whoever, I need you to fix these stats.
Yeah, like defense travels. So my defense traveled that game, but I mean offense was okay too. I think he had a floater, but still just like. It still didn't really hit me that I was really playing in like a SEC game. You know, I've watched Vandy since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, my dad playing here. I went to every single game, home game till I was like, I don't even know, like 11 or 12. So like, actually stepping on the court and knowing that some kids out there like me that's watching me play.
Yeah.
Like that blew my mind. And I still don't get over it.
That's really, really cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then to finish out the season, how much time did you see from there on out?
I was kind of on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really stepped in because Rod was injured, and you know Rod's obviously probably our best on-ball defender, and he can shoot too.
Yeah,
underrated shooter. So
he went off against LSU.
He did.
It was nuts.
Yeah,
we were at that game.
He's a great player and a great guy, but yeah. So I did.
What's he doing nowadays? You know?
He's overseas in I can't remember what country, but he's making some money. You know, he's trying to find his way. It's just
bro, he's talented.
Oh, he's talented. Like he locked up all those quick guards, and you know.
Yeah, he's
darn good at what he does.
Yeah.
I thought he was our best defender.
Oh, by far, for sure.
I wasn't trying to disrespect, but like I love him.
I like him, man. When he got like established on the team, and it was like, okay, we're in a groove now.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's like, okay, we're a successful team, and everyone's working.
Right.
Liam's back, Rod's back. It's all just working real well.
You got weapons.
Saw that pretty late into the season.
I felt like if we started the season with Rodney and Liam like healthy, that would have been like a pretty like mid like seed tournament team.
Yeah.
Easily.
Like I thought it was like a 9 seed.
Yeah.
That's a 7, 8, 9 team.
Problem with Vandy is to get those high-end transfers, like which Rod and Liam are. They gotta have some downside. You know, Liam will admit it. Like only reason he didn't go to or wasn't able to go to like a Kentucky or something was because his foot, and then Rod's was his knee. You know, I mean, they're like really great players and can play at the highest level. Like Rod was a Final Four, or supposed to be Final Four at Dayton, but you know, there's some downside. But I think we would have gotten lucky if we were able to mesh a little bit towards the end, because that's probably the most talent we've had since I've been here with those two guys.
That's a darn good team.
We had a pretty good recruiting class this year.
We did, yeah, and it's only getting better. So.
Yeah.
We DM'd Isaiah West, and he said he was going to come on the podcast when he got on campus.
He's nice, yeah, for sure. But freshmen, it's hard to win with freshmen, but they definitely look like they're going to contribute.
Some people do it, don't know how.
That's true. Yeah.
Some people do it, but like. So at the end of the season, wins are piling down. We're like, okay,
right.
this is a
Piling
pretty
down?
good team. We got a good team, right?
Come on, man. We're supposed to be media personalities.
My bad, Chris. You can take this segment.
All right, so wins are starting to happen more often, more than I've seen in Vanderbilt history. Maybe not history, but for the last little bit. Well, did you guys feel like you had a real chance to kind of push towards the tournament? Was that like a talked about thing in the locker room, or was it more like take it one game at a time type thing?
For every game, Stack would draw, like 5 dashes or 4 dashes, however many games were left in the season. Like, if we win these 4 or 5 games left, we're in the tournament. And, every time we win, we'd mark one off. I think we lost maybe 1 or 2 of them, but we still, if we make an SEC run, then who knows?
Tournament, yeah.
Yeah, but our team definitely had swagger when we would win. Rod taking the shade pick after every game, and then Miles and Scotty and them joining in. That was the best energy I've seen at Vandy basketball, and I don't even know since when. And I've been watching for 20 years. So.
Right. Yeah. So then the SEC tournament happens, and you guys are like, we can make a real run.
Yeah,
here.
what's the mentality going into that? Is it okay, boys, we have to win now? Or is it game 1? Let's look at this, game 1.
Gotta win now. I mean, you take one game at a time, but it's you have to win.
I mean, it's all or nothing.
And you guys played Georgia first.
Yeah, that was
You guys blew Georgia.
Holy moly, that was a game.
That was probably the easiest game and most lifeless game I've ever watched.
It's kind of hard to watch, I'll be honest.
Georgia was like, man, we're ready to go back home.
Yeah, no, it'd be like watching Alabama play football against some D3 team or something.
It was it was embarrassing. I remember I either thought Vandy was going to win like a few games or they were just going to like come in and lose,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I was like a little nervous to start, and then we just like it was like
Yeah.
a 20-7 run or whatever, and I'm like, well, maybe we're just going to get
Well,
one.
shoot. Yeah.
We were a little scared of Georgia just because they beat Bama when they were ranked earlier in the year.
Yeah, they had like
They had a weird win. They had weird wins.
Was it yeah, they might have beat somebody else, but like
I think they beat Alabama as well.
yeah.
Where it's like, how?
Yeah. So we knew they if they got hot they could hang with us, and even when we played at Georgia earlier in the year,
it was close.
it was close. Like at halftime I think we might have been down or maybe just ahead, but
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened anyway. But going into this, we kind of, we were like, we're not letting this get away from us. So we finished the job against them and then moved on.
And then you've got,
and then NATO to win on TV and was like,
yeah, it was crazy. So y'all are playing Georgia, tearing them up. While that's going on, the commentators are talking to Nate Oates. Not saying anything about this absolute destruction of a SEC team.
for all you know, there's not a basketball game going on.
Yeah, they're like,
talking.
this is just a conversation with Nate Oates.
Right.
And Nate Oates was like kind of talking crap.
Yeah.
Like he was like, we're gonna play whoever's playing right now, and it's gonna be fine, and it's not gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, we played that speech before.
Really?
In the locker room, so we heard that one for sure. And I think he was, I think he might have said something about Scotty or something. So
he was like, yeah, we gotta shut down like one player or something like that.
Yeah. So Stack was like, are y'all gonna let him talk like that? So, no,
and then you came out and beat Alabama, and like it wasn't like you guys didn't like trash them, but like it was a win.
We fought him for sure.
It was a good win.
Yeah.
It was good. I was excited.
Did you play in that game?
I didn't play that game. By then I was done. Until the NIT, I guess. I forgot about that.
But like, how was it like watching those games?
Man, it was intense because I was, like I've always been invested in the team because I care.
You're getting
But like,
energy.
that was the most energy our bench has had too since I've been here. Like our whole team from starters to me and Graham, it's like we cared too much to lose. Like even if we weren't playing, like we were not gonna, be the quiet ones on the bench.
Yeah.
So.
Were there any moments where you were like getting like fired up, like you're about to like?
Oh, I was losing my mind. Every game though, I lose my mind on the bench. Like I'm yelling at refs, saying some crazy stuff. Every game. Yeah, no, I cared too much to not say anything. So
Yeah, you love the game.
funny.
There it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's it? You win, and then next is Kentucky's coming.
Yeah, you got this whale sitting behind them.
Kentucky's coming.
Yeah.
But is there a moment where you're like, okay, let's appreciate this Alabama win. This was nice, good energy, or is it like, okay, boys, who's next?
I think we watched 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of film on Alabama, and they were like, all right, let's turn it to Kentucky. Like, we just knew that was the next step you have to take.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we knew that coming in, like, oh, we're going to have to win, 5 games or whatever. Or 4, I can't remember.
5.
Yeah, 5 to try to make our ultimate goal of the tournament. So we're just like...
Yeah, you want that automatic bid.
Right, exactly,
Post
right.
the ticket.
So we're just like, next step, next team.
And so, in my mind, now we can get to the Kentucky game. Because that game was the biggest, like, series of bullshit that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was like, first of all, I'm trying to remember the series of events that happened that I was, like, really mad about. Because it was something about, like, Stack being on the court or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
that
you saying that just brought back all my memories of it. Okay.
No, I think he touched the referee.
Yeah.
Like the referee ran into him.
But it was like
And
they
teed him up for that.
stopped the play and then they gave him 3 points or something like that.
So,
Oh, jeez, break it down for us.
So, let me think. So I think Rod took a shot from the 3-point line, which was
Okay.
right in front of Stack. So like, they're right in line. I think he got fouled on the shot. So
yeah, they didn't call the foul.
they didn't call a foul on the 3-point shot, right?
Yep.
So I think Kentucky gets the rebound and starts pushing it ahead, and Rod's standing there like, why'd you call that, like all this stuff, letting the ref know because he missed a call, a blatant call.
Yeah.
And so they run down and get, I can't remember if it was a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer, but
think
they
it
get
was just
points
lit.
off it. And then not only did they not call a foul on Rod, but they called a tech on Rod too. I don't think they called the tech on Stack. They called the tech on Rod. Yeah, on Rod.
Oh, and they didn't stop the. Oh, it was also because of the foul he airballed the 3.
Right.
And they didn't call a shot clock violation.
Right. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Shot clock violation. Like layers on top of layers of mistakes by
because
SEC officials.
they shouldn't have gotten the fast break. It should have just been like.
It should have been dead ball right there.
Yeah.
You know.
Even if you don't give them the 3 free throws and like you miss that blatant call, which is ridiculous. You know, it should be their ball.
They shouldn't have the momentum of that fast break.
And then they get the tech on top of that with points, and then also Rod's got to step out.
It was like a 7-point swing or something like that.
It was insane.
And I was so mad.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible officiating. It was probably the worst I've ever seen, to be honest.
Yeah, I couldn't. There have been a few times in my life where I've been more just straight up furious at something than watching that Kentucky game. It was nuts. I couldn't believe it. My dad was furious.
Yeah.
We're all watching this game like, there's no way. Like, I remember...
After this game, Willem texted me. He's like, I don't know if I can watch basketball anymore.
No, I was pissed.
I almost gave up on the sport, man.
I was pissed.
So bad.
I was
Because
pissed.
I remember it was... I might be remembering it wrong. Was it that game or was it regular season versus Kentucky where... They went on like a 12-0 run. We were down big, and then we went on a 12-0 run.
I think that might have been that game because I know there was a lot of runs that game.
Yeah, and it was like
It could have
we're
been.
kind of down big, and then it's like we're almost winning.
Joe
now.
Wright was cooking. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was a regular season game.
I think it was.
I think it was a lot of runs in that playoff game, but it was like 4 and 4.
Closer. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, Jordan Wright was going crazy.
Yeah.
If he touched the ball, he was lacing it.
He can do that.
I was like, he's the best player we've ever had. Jordan Wright is the most talent we've had ever. Aaron Nesmith? Who? No. Jordan Wright, right here.
When
You're
Joe
just
was-
gonna disrespect Darius. Like that.
Well, Darius
Only 5
played
games,
5
what?
games, yeah.
That's fair, my bad.
No disrespect to him. He played 5 games. It was insane.
Yeah.
And then Scotty was doing better than he did in the Alabama game, but it wasn't his game. You know what I mean?
No.
It happens, and you hate to see it against Kentucky,
Yeah.
but Jordan Wright needs to put up more shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna ask you this as somebody who is part of the program,
Yeah.
because to me, for an entirely outside fan, it felt like the game plan devolved into, here, have the ball, Scotty, run around for 20 seconds and see if you can get a shot. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I think that Stack is a great coach. I had my doubts earlier in the season, but as we went on, I believed in Stack a lot. But it felt very like it was like, you are, the player on the team that we're going to be made or broken with. Go do something.
He definitely is a player's coach, so he'll tell you, go get a bucket, but there's not a play on our playbook that says run around for 20 seconds and throw up a bad shot. Like, that's never in the game plan.
Yeah.
Even though, we did need a bucket, like, Stack will always, like, one more pass to the open guy, even if it's, Drew Weikert sitting in the corner.
There we go, baby.
So, like, I don't know if that's Stack's doing, but, I would have liked to see some better team play, for sure. I mean, everybody has that tendency.
Yeah, of course.
I think Scotty's is just kind of shown a little bit more because he handles the ball so much.
Yeah.
Like, I think he has the most top 5 usage.
Yeah,
had
he
the
had an insane usage. Right?
Yeah, so it's like that's going to show more for him.
The difference that I saw, and again, this is coming from a person who isn't with the program, doesn't play basketball. It felt like earlier in the tournament, anyway, it was like he took the ball up all the time if he was on the court. He would, get himself into the lane, do the thing where he's like, has a guy behind him in like that little hole.
Right.
And then if he didn't feel like he had like a perfect shot, he had somebody open he would pass it to.
Right.
And it felt like he was forcing it a little bit more by the end.
I think that game he was forcing it. I mean, part of the thing is every time we play Kentucky, he always goes off. He was averaging like 20-something points on insane, efficiency against Kentucky, like in the 3 years he's been playing. So I think every time he goes in against Kentucky, he's like, "This is my game,"
This is it.
But
Jeez.
I mean, when you're not making shots, you got to pass it up. But like when you have that mindset of "this is my game," which he rightfully had,
But of course,
like
Scott,
I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta put up shots.
you got
It's
4 shots.
understandable.
Yeah,
And he's
of
that
course.
guy.
No,
so
he is.
like,
oh yeah, definitely.
take your shots, dude. But it was just tough to see, combining where it's like, I feel like he's shooting a little more than he should with the referees are absolutely losing their minds.
Right.
And this is a win or go home situation.
And Jordan was going crazy.
Right.
There's a lot. It was so much in one game. So like, it's crazy. It ends. What was it like to be like, okay, that's it?
Well, I mean, at the end, we were kind of mad because there was a big review issue, too, at the end of that game, if y'all remember.
I don't remember
because
that.
I keep pushing this stuff out of my mind.
Because they stepped back, they stepped out of bounds, and they reviewed a different part of the but they didn't review the play that's on the screen.
You can't review the part that's there.
Yeah.
If it's,
No, I was so angry.
So, yeah.
I remember Willem was telling me this because in the rules of basketball or something like that,
how it works, and
I was like, that's complete bullshit. I was like, there's no. What do you mean you can't review the fact he stepped out of bounds?
you
made
have
no
to
sense.
review what you call in question.
Yeah.
But when you notice that he's out of bounds,
Like,
give
why
the team
not?
the
It's
ball.
so
Like,
it's so
what
obvious.
are you doing?
He was a foot out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
For real.
And
it
this is
wasn't even close.
No, it was not close. And it was on video.
Yeah, like they were playing
in front of
yeah,
everybody.
4K, like in front of everyone.
4K.
They got that in high definition.
I
Zoom in,
seriously,
zoom in. There it is.
I'm sitting here like watching the game, and I called it he was out like live because it was so blatant.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they didn't, and like they're showing the replay, and I'm like, he's been standing on the out of bounds for like a good 2 seconds at this
Right.
point.
They're replaying it, and I'm like, well, they figured out he's out of bounds.
Right.
And they're like, it was a foul, and I'm like,
Yeah,
well, hold on.
great call. Great call.
I'm like,
Good
wow.
job.
Yeah.
boy.
I'm like, good job, guys.
Yeah.
They're really bringing this one home for
Referees.
Kentucky. I know they like maybe make more money, but come on,
Yeah.
man.
No, but after that call was like, I mean, I guess Kentucky's fan base probably made that call work. They need the money, I guess the SEC does.
They're
But,
sitting here, they're like,
yeah.
guys, Vanderbilt would do it. they're like, our ratings are gonna tank.
Okay, what?
Yeah,
This is crazy. It just felt like a game.
it was a game. It was a hell of a
They all
game.
deserved.
Yeah,
Oh, I was pissed.
It's tough to have games like that, just in general.
Mm.
But at a time like that, when like
And then
momentum's at a high,
I was
Go
mad
to the
because you guys were
tournament.
gonna play UT if you guys won that game.
Yeah,
And you guys played UT in Thompson Bowling Arena a little earlier in the season.
Right.
And it was like a really close game.
yeah.
It like maybe got like away a little bit at the end.
At the end it did.
But it was like 3/4 of the game was close. And I was sitting here and I'm like, I remember Miles went off that game. He had like 21 on 7 of 7 shooting from 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a game that we could realistically win.
Right.
And I felt like you guys got screwed out of that opportunity.
I wish we did, man. I would have loved to play Tennessee. I hate Tennessee, honestly.
That's understandable.
yeah, yeah.
doesn't?
But
Chill,
no,
chill,
we.
chill, chill.
I think we could have beat honestly any team in the SEC on that run, like with Rod, Liam. Liam
Yeah.
still getting used to everything, and Rod, locking up like he does. It's like who's
gonna
Kentucky at the time was a contender. People were
Yeah.
picking Kentucky to win it all. At
Oh,
that
yeah.
time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
St.
things
Peter's.
happened later that
St.
showed they're
Peter's.
not as
St.
good as
Peter's.
they- You know,
Right.
whatever.
That was real.
But like, I don't know how many teams in the country that, in
Are
a
theoretically
in a setting
better.
where you weren't messed up by the referees or something. Maybe Scottie Pippen's not having an off night. I don't know.
If Scottie Pippen had a
I
good
feel like
game,
he
that
could've
game
competed
was
with
that game would have
anybody.
been a blowout.
Yeah. Man, it's hard to play Kentucky too against when they travel. They travel and they basically bring Rupp Arena to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But
Kentucky fans are something else.
I would have loved to play Tennessee, and it would not have been a blowout. It would have been a close game.
Mhm.
Like, we always play them close. I feel like maybe till the end it gets a little out of hand, but I think we had
But it's
good
a
matchups.
competition.
Oh yeah, we
Long
fight them
time.
the whole
Yeah.
time.
It's
yeah.
always a very like conflicting game for me because I grew up on Tennessee football. I didn't grow up on Tennessee basketball.
yeah.
And so then coming here and being like, oh, I like Vandy basketball because I'm a
Right.
Vandy student. It's like both teams I'm like very like, oh, I want them to win, but like
Right.
not like
yeah.
as strongly. So it's like, I want you guys to go 1-1 the series, have 2 close games.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. I hate Tennessee.
Have you always hated Tennessee?
I've always hated. My dad, when I was a kid, one of his partners who works at Tennessee and the hand department gave him a Tennessee hat, and he went home and buried it in the backyard. So we hate Tennessee.
I thought you said you were considering UT Law.
No, I was. That's why I couldn't go
Would
there.
you have gone to like and rooted for Tennessee at games if you went?
Hell no.
Oh,
I hate Tennessee.
Have you ever been to Nayland?
I've been once actually, and I'll never forget this big guy got thrown out by the cops, like carried on, by
Sounds-
4 different
sounds about
cops.
right.
So I've never liked
sounds
Tennessee.
about right.
And we
Tennessee football.
and we won in Neyland that year. One of the few times
yeah,
I think
it was-
Pat and Robinette did a little fake run in the end zone. So
Yeah,
I'm shit.
that was a bad year for Tennessee. No wonder some guy got thrown out.
What?
I took Willem to his first I don't mean to be disrespectful to Vandy football, but the atmosphere is not comparable in my opinion.
No.
And I took him to the Ole Miss UT game last year, and that was the game that like Lane Kiffin was back. I don't know if you know about
I
UT
know
lore.
about, oh yeah.
UT
But
lore.
like the UT, and so like that was the game that everyone like threw all the stuff on the field. It was the best atmosphere
It
I've
was
ever
the first
been in.
like real football game I'd been to. Besides,
Really?
like the little COVID Vanderbilt games.
Yeah.
Which like no disrespect to them, we love them.
It's not the
But it
same.
was COVID, you know.
And it's a
not
much
huge
bigger
arena.
stadium.
Yeah.
You
I went
know,
to a
with
Titans
pride in
game the first
program.
time when I came to Nashville. Well, not when I came to Nashville. Like I was maybe like in high school, and I was like, man, Nealon's better than this.
Oh yeah, Neyland's huge, and honestly, all the Titans fans are Tennessee fans. So
Yeah.
There
it's
it
kind of
is,
the
yeah.
same.
Yeah,
But,
it's
yeah,
the same
when-
people, that's for sure.
Neyland's like 100.
It's 102, 4, 5, 5.
Yeah, that's right.
I
It's,
think
it's dirty
like
though.
The law that he needs to know that.
I have to know that.
All Tennessee fans have
If
to
you
know
if you
the
were
exact
raised in
number.
Knoxville, I mean, it's on like every billboard.
That's true. Yeah.
But
But like after the Kentucky game, I don't know as a coach what you say. Like what
yeah,
do you, I mean
yeah.
like
What was that post game interview like?
I mean,
Not interview,
what
but,
what
like,
do you like? You go to the locker room and
Yeah. Well, Stack knew we were playing more than NIT. I think everybody knew that. But so he used that to grill us. You know, it wasn't like, oh, it's a good season, guys. Like, I miss all y'all. No, he was like, y'all didn't do your job. Like, you can't rely on the rest to take care of the shit. So yeah, I mean, I respect it.
Do you think
Like,
that Stack was mad though about the refs?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely like wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's not afraid to show emotions and disagree with
I
refs.
love watching
so,
Stack on the sideline.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, but behind the scenes, like it's always, y'all didn't do enough. Like,
Well, yeah.
or not y'all,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
all
we.
for that
No, I get what you're
preparation.
saying.
Yeah.
that's there you go. It's not just like it was good, boys.
Yeah.
There was something to look forward to. So then it's
Right.
like, okay, I need
Yeah,
to keep them in this winning mindset, get them going,
Yeah.
make them work harder. So that's good. At least it wasn't like, well, let's just like feel bad about this, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
And then
I'm sorry.
go to the NIT. NIT rolls around.
Mm,
It was Belmont first round.
yeah, I didn't like Belmont.
Yeah,
Even though I go there, like because they always do like Battle of Nashville or whatever, and they used to when we would schedule Belmont, and everybody's been saying, oh, Belmont's the best team in Nashville, blah blah. That is bullshit. They don't have the talent.
No.
They're good players. Like obviously they're all really good, and they're good tournament teams every year, but it's not the same level.
No.
They don't play against Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, all these Auburn.
Texas.
Bama, like all of them. They don't play against them all year. They
You
play
don't
against,
get it. Yeah.
Murray State or whatever.
Murray State, no.
Murray State. I
They
have
play
a lot of
against
friends that go to
Alcorn
Murray
State.
They play Austin P.
Yeah, it's
Goodness.
not the
Northwest
same.
Montana, like.
It's not the same.
See,
And
I'm naming actual teams.
I said Alcorn State the first time.
They are not
Alcorn State.
not in that conference.
Do you know Belmont's conference?
Yeah, it's the OVC.
I think they changed it, right?
It was
didn't
like
know-
2 years.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't know
was.
about the conference.
Yeah.
It's Murray
I didn't
State.
know that.
I think Morehead State.
Morehead
Why do you
State,
know this?
Austin
I lived in
Peay,
Kentucky.
yeah.
That's fair.
That's like the Kentucky conference, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
I grew up in the SEC.
well,
Crazy.
you're better than me. So Belmont, these bums come in
Yeah, they're not bummed. They got
at
some
home.
good players.
Yeah.
Relative bums.
Yeah.
Relative bums.
Relative bums.
Right.
It's at home. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. NIT. It's real now. We lose.
Right.
It's over. What was it like, in that moment where you're like, okay, this is, like, did you realize at the time, or do you think about it at the time where, like, this is the last run of my career? Or was it like, let's enjoy this, not think about it too hard?
I mean, I thought about that a lot, not even before that game, but before the SEC tournament.
Mm.
But I don't know. We obviously took Belmont really seriously and
Yeah.
treated it like it was the real tournament. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it wasn't
It's
the real
Belmont.
They
tournament.
wouldn't.
So, like, do you have that disappointment of it being like you felt like you
Yeah.
could have been a tournament team?
We definitely did. I mean, we did a good job to play, the best we could play in the circumstances. But
Yeah.
if it were the tournament, like the real tournament, we would have brought a whole nother level, I think, for sure.
Yeah, got
And we
robbed there.
just missed it. But
But, you make the best of it. You beat Belmont.
Right.
Beat Belmont.
You beat Belmont.
And then Dayton.
yeah,
Dayton. That
The
was a
Rod
crazy game.
Revenge game.
that was.
Oh yeah, that's what we were calling
That
it.
was
The
one
Rod.
heck of a game, dude.
That was, dude. They're a bunch of young guys. They're all freshmen, and they're gonna be really good this year.
They're
But
gonna
I-
be a little scary.
I'm just
I
thankful
won't lie.
we didn't play them at Dayton because that would have been
Oh yeah.
rough.
Wasn't it It was some stupid reason that they had to play here.
They were hosting the actual tournament.
No, they were hosting the high school.
They were hosting
state
a
tournament.
high school state tournament.
Oh shoot!
And they kicked. It was a dumb reason.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And I was sitting here, I'm like, they kicked out the college team.
The NIT.
The NIT tournament
Well, I
for
mean,
their high schoolers.
Isn't it in Indiana?
Ohio.
Ohio?
But
it's not even Indiana. It's Ohio State basketball.
Yeah.
Ohio State basketball is
they decided it like before because I don't think they really thought that Dayton would be a NIT team. I think they thought they'd be a
I think what I
NCAA
heard
tournament
is it
team.
was like a yearly thing.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do it.
But no, we would have because Dayton has one of the biggest fan bases for basketball.
And they traveled well.
Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah, so Rod was telling us like, man, y'all better be thankful y'all didn't go to Dayton right now because they would have brought, they would have packed out the gym. But yeah, we got them at Memorial and
It
found
was
a
on
way.
my dad's birthday.
I remember
I took my dad to that game.
it was. I will never feel like as obviously I'm so glad we won that game, but Jordan got like a steal at the end of the game, and I was like, "This is it. This is gonna be like the game-winning
I
layup."
forgot about that.
And then man just like bricked it, and I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
there's overtime."
Yeah, it happens, man. Last second though, it's hard to get that shot off
Yeah.
and be accurate with it. But
No, I'm sure, and I'm not trashing Jordan Wright, obviously, but like I remember I was out of my seat jumping at that, and and then I was like, "This is I mean, it's game, right?" And then it wasn't, and then it was later, of course, but like, oh my gosh, that game had some emotion in it.
Yeah, at the end of overtime when Liam had that block to seal it. Oh man,
It wasn't even close. That block was one of like the harder blocks I've seen.
Oh yeah,
Oh
like
my gosh.
yeah.
That was a phenomenal game. I was at the game. All my family was there with Chris.
Yeah.
I had to like go do like research.
lab.
Like
Oh,
I'm in a
man.
lab, so like I needed to go run a research study.
Right.
Like 5 minutes after the game. So I'm like, it can't go to overtime. I'm gonna be late for my lab. It can't go goes into overtime, and I'm like, I'm gonna be late. We win. I run across campus to my lab, and I'm like,
I have to like
that was
walk his
phenomenal.
parents to his car.
It was great.
That's
But
fun.
geez, that was like
Yeah.
the energy in the arena was phenomenal.
It was great.
It was, even though we got robbed in the Kentucky game, like looking around and looking, it's like this is like the program's come a long way just in 1
Yeah,
year.
I was shocked at how many people went to that game. Honestly, I was like, man,
Yeah,
they're just gonna be like NIT tournament. Who wants to go to that? But no, they
Normally, what Willem and I do is like we like scan our student tickets and then we walk behind like the commentators box when
Right.
there's a bunch of seats.
right.
And we had to go to like the upper levels for that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Like,
That was one
It
of our
was-
most
it was
full
packed
games.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
so then Xavier.
Xavier? Yeah.
Okay, my
Xavier.
bad. I didn't
It's
know.
not EGG Xavier.
Cool, you're cool. You're good at it.
Yeah, where's
Xavier.
Dayton at again? That Xavier game was. They ended up winning it all, and
They're a
they
good team.
one of their
They're a
best
good team.
player. I think their best player was out with the ACL, so like they would have been
They're a good team.
dangerous in the tournament. But they had a ton of people there too. I was like, oh, I guess it's a real thing.
Maybe the NIT is a real tournament.
Yeah.
Something.
yeah.
If I didn't have class, I was gonna go to that game because they took like a bunch of students on like a bus.
Yeah.
I had a class, but like, did you feel like there was a lot of Vanderbilt representation there?
There was. Actually, my girlfriend, she's a senior at Vandy, so she
There
took
we
the
go.
bus. She took the bus to come watch the game. I mean, I didn't play, but she still showed
like
that
the bench.
support. Right.
See their little
Support
Weikert
for-
jersey.
Yeah, but no, there was a lot of people there. Personally, if I didn't play, I don't know if I would have gone, but
It was cool.
yeah, no, we definitely appreciated that, having at least some people rooting for us. But yeah, no, Xavier brought a lot of people too.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
it was
a
awesome.
good team too.
They're really good.
I mean, Xavier's normally a tournament team.
Yes.
They are. Yeah, they had a down year and they're still really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's back to that point. Like, I think we didn't have as much motivation as we, could have had if we were in the NCAA tournament. And I think Xavier, on the other hand, was trying to prove like we should have been in the tournament. Like we're gonna win this whole thing, even without our best player.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like we could have used that mindset a little bit more. But all of us were tired from a long season. Like, you don't think about it, but we play from second week in November all the way to March, and then we were getting close to April.
That's
Yeah.
That's gotta take it out of you.
Yeah, plus not in the NCAA tournament, so it's like,
You're like, what am I really playing?
yeah, I'm
for?
trying to get ready
You
for
like-
spring break. Man.
I'm
I'm playing.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's it. it was a good run. It was
Do you
really
have like,
really
do you
cool.
have technically do you have like the COVID year of eligibility?
I got one more year. I'm not using it.
You're not gonna play at Belmont?
Hell no. I'd have to be a walk on at Belmont for sure, but
They wouldn't give you a scholarship?
No, they got good players, man. But not
Yeah, but
SEC.
you're
players.
Drew Weikert. You've started two SEC
no.
games.
SEC scholarship athlete, Drew Weikert.
No, not anymore.
You're former
Retired.
SEC scholarship.
That's how you gotta sign your emails and stuff.
Yeah, that's my LinkedIn actually. Former
There
student
we go.
athlete.
Former student athlete, present just student.
Yeah, but no, go on.
It's something. What would you say is like the best memory, the one thing you'll take out most? There are a lot of options there. Like you've had some awesome stuff go for these like 3 years here.
Yeah.
What do you think you will remember in 20, 40, 50 years?
Ah man, too many things. I think probably my career high night at Mississippi State. I had 7, so I'll remember that forever. And my dad was there too. At Mississippi State.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Actually.
But I mean, honestly, not really one moment. I don't think like just the fact that I went from playing 5 minutes, D3, in the middle of nowhere. Coach had a freshman that was coming in ranked above me in the list at the end of my year meeting. So
You're like, well, fruit this.
Yeah. So I went from there to starting an SEC game and then scoring however many points like. I think I scored 39, so 39 more points than I thought I would ever score in my life.
Did you ever think about
Yeah.
after your game against Mississippi State where you scored 7, right?
Yeah.
Were you ever like, the center college guy didn't believe in me?
I forgot to tell y'all. So
Okay.
not only was it just that my center college coach, didn't think I was good enough, but I went to a hoop camp. I don't know if y'all know what that is. It's like an AAU kind of recruiting thing.
Okay.
You get assigned a random coach.
Yeah.
I got assigned this random guy from Virginia Military Institute or something.
VMI.
And he was my coach, and he gave me like a C rating on my player report card.
No way.
He was on the assistant coaching staff at Mississippi State when we played against them. I didn't realize that till after, but then I was like,
shoot.
And you were like, yeah, how's that C taste?
yeah, I was like, yeah, see, you got 7 points on your head. So
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, so I totally forgot about that, but
Oh, that's
Man.
something to remember.
yeah,
Goodness.
you really got to use that like negative feedback. If it's valid negative feedback, then you learn from it. But if it's just like, this guy's
If it's
coming
just
after
hate,
you,
like,
right, then you got to use that to prove him wrong. I think.
uh-huh.
Of course.
That's what I try
Got
to
that
do.
chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, so yeah,
Mhm.
honestly, though, that's what I'm going to take away from Vandy basketball. Like, I feel like I had a chip on my shoulder, and I got to use that, outside now too. Like, I can't. Like, people don't believe in me, so I got to prove them wrong.
That's it.
Yeah.
First on the Memorial Gym basketball court, now in the Belmont Law School libraries.
Yes,
You
sir.
enter the courtroom, you're like the judge. Like, wrong.
Thank you.
All that jury, they telling me. I'm wrong.
Exactly,
What kind of
yeah.
law do you want to go into?
I don't know. I'm thinking health law because I did, a little bit of pre-med here, and then
Mhm.
my dad's kind of had me around kind of the clinical background for so long, so it's like maybe I know a little bit about that, but
Yeah.
still got a couple of years to decide.
You look into it.
Definitely.
Word.
Well, now we're getting to kind of the fun part. Not to say it hasn't been fun, but we do an accolades thing. Have you ever watched those old Vikings videos where they're like, who's the best dancer on the team, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So we have a few of the different questions.
Mhm.
So we'll start with the one I just said. Who is the best dancer on the team?
Best dancer. Oh,
And
that's
this
a
of,
tough one.
This of last year's team.
I mean, I say Tyron Lawrence, man.
Tyron Lawrence.
Tyron,
I
he's
like
got some
Tyron.
moves, man. He's got a good personality, man. He can he can move a little bit, yeah.
There we go. That's exciting.
I kind of
Yeah.
forgot about him, to be honest. But he played well whenever he was playing.
He's got a big year coming up for sure.
I think he.
He seems
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Who's the best dressed on the team?
Best dressed. Oof. I mean, Scotty's got the best shoe game.
I mean,
Well,
Has to. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got this connection, so
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't blame it.
Do you think he has ever paid for a pair of shoes in his life?
No, never. I don't think so. With his dad and then now being on the Lakers, never.
He's never will for the rest of his life. Are you
No,
kidding me?
he used to have in the old locker room. He'd have a stack of 12 shoes just in the boxes, unopened, sitting by his locker. I'm like, I wish I could get one of those.
You're like,
Better snag
you're like,
one.
he won't miss those on the bottom.
He doesn't even wear them, right? Yeah.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah.
That's
What is your favorite place to play outside of Memorial?
Well, that's a great question. Let me think. I didn't like Mississippi State. I liked, honestly, Exact Tech Arena at Florida was like, just because they had so much support there and so many people there.
Yeah.
I hate it, but it's impressive.
They're nasty people.
It's just a cool atmosphere, to be honest. So I really liked it there. And then I'm trying to think where else I played at, but Auburn was cool too. I had to play at the very end of Auburn, but like it's such a small gym. It's like a high school gym.
Really?
And so they,
It's like an intimate setting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 50 people in there feels like 2,000. So.
So on the flip side, what is your least favorite places you play?
Oh man.
I was gonna say outside of Memorial, but that's not one.
I did not play at Alabama, but we hated Alabama. It's like this old, it's a bad gym. It's dirty.
Really?
The balls they give us are just like probably 15 years old because they they always give the other team the bad ones. So and then like the rims just feel so far back or something. It's kind of like Hawaii actually.
Yeah.
Like the rim, because it's a dome, and it's an old stadium. So the rims just felt like you were shooting in, I don't even know what, like backyard or something. But no. I mean, honestly, there's not a bad place to play though, just because playing against so many good players and so many people watching, it's like
it's high level basketball, like minimum. But
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should write these down.
We need to write these down.
Yeah, we always have to.
So, one thing that we talked about with all the football players that have come on is, I don't know if you guys get the same stuff, but they talk about like their food before the game.
Oh, it's delicious.
Right? Yeah. But they say they have like an ice cream bar.
Before the game?
Yeah, before the game.
We need to take that out. Maybe that's before Alabama. We need to stop that.
But they talk about like, as a receiver, Cam was talking about like, using it to like get like twitchy. Yeah. And he was talking about like all the toppings they put on, like they'd be like a competition with who would have like the best ice cream. But like what do you guys have before games in terms of food? And is there anything
no
like
ice
that?
cream, I'll tell you that. No ice cream. If I had that, I'd be cramping the whole time. But no, we have like really healthy stuff. It's the best food I've ever had.
Really?
Like salmon, steak, chicken, like a lot of carbs too. Just like, I mean, I don't really need them, but somebody like Scotty who plays, 39 minutes a game needs some carbs.
Needs his energy.
Yeah, but no, it's like super healthy.
Who like ate the most before games?
Odd question.
I mean, I don't. No. I'll just say Liam. Well, 7'1", you gotta feed him. Feed 7'1", it's hard.
I just feel like I don't know. Did you have like a pregame like ritual of food, or like was it just, man, I'm hungry.
Like,
You're gonna get
this today, boys.
I mean, I didn't really have. I guess I eat salmon every time just because it's light, but. I love morning games because I'd always get to drink some coffee before the game.
There you go.
I feel like people just don't wake up for them. Even in the SEC, like.
I mean, that happens.
Like Mississippi State, they were just asleep. So that.
Like, how do you think I score?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, y'all just gonna let me take this? Like, no, look at me.
They're like, surely he's not gonna shoot.
Yeah. Do I look like I'm gonna drive on you? Like what? No,
I remember spotting up or passing the ball. What are you thinking?
But like, you had those 7 points like.
Pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was a point I was like, are we running the offense through Drew Weikert?
Yeah, no,
it was great.
I had a nice ass pass to Taryn Frank. I had like a little floater. I don't even know I could do it, honestly.
What happened?
But, so no, I don't know why, but yeah, I love drinking coffee before games, even at night games though, just to like wake up.
Is it like black coffee?
Yeah,
or?
straight. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
straight
if you like
there you go.
sugars.
That's all.
Interesting there, Chris. Where was your favorite place to eat? Like, what dining hall did you like most on campus?
On campus, I had access to Hendrix, but it was on the other side of campus. It was like a 15-minute walk.
Where do you live?
I lived at EBI, so
we
never
saw you at EBI.
I saw you
we lived at
last
EBI.
year.
Really? Yeah.
Like randomly, I'm like, Hey, Drew Weikert.
Yeah,
I was like,
Again.
I thought he'd be living at Morgan and Lewis. And
No,
I was,
I like the solo dorm life, so I lived over there.
It's a nice place.
And plus, I
Maybe
gotta say the EBI breakfast was good. I think that might be the best
omelet
one.
session?
Yeah, the omelets. That guy, yeah, he knew me by name, so
There you go. There you go.
yeah.
Every time I'd go, I'd be like, "Hey, boss, what's up?" And I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, hey,
He's
man.
good. He's good at his job. For
He
sure.
does his job, just like we were talking about.
What's your favorite place on the Commodore card?
The Commodore card.
We talk a lot about food, if you can't tell.
Yeah. Let me think. So Sete was on there, right?
So Tay is banging.
They took a lot of my money, and then I want to say, was Hop Dotty on there?
Yep.
Hop Dotty
Hop
for
Dotty's
sure.
solid.
Hop Dotty was good. I
I
wish
wish Hop Dotty one time, and it was pretty good.
it's solid. I wish Double Dogs right across the street was on it, but Hop Dotty's a good burger, you know.
I've never been a big Double Dogs guy.
Big Double Dog.
Big
Big
double,
guy.
double Dogs proprietor.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh gosh, man, we really gotta write these down more.
Every time we struggle, it's embarrassing. I'll be honest with you.
It
Sorry.
is.
This is easily the worst part of our. This is the most fun part of the podcast, and we have such a hard
It's
time.
where you
thinking
just skip
about
through to the next
Yeah,
question.
no, we don't cut anything. I think I do all the editing, and I'm
Chris
definitely
does
not
the
editing
editing.
things
He
out.
will not edit
I
you
edited
out.
one cutout because we asked Spencer Jones who would like.
Well, you can't say it now. We'll have to cut it out.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
cut this
we'll talk about
The
it after.
Yankees will talk to us and be like, cut it out.
There's no way that they're gonna watch this
I know,
episode of the
but that'd be cool, though. I'll be
podcast.
honest.
But we asked Spencer Jones a question that it wasn't like bad. Like it wasn't like too bad of a question. But he like asked us afterward. He was like, "Hey, will you cut that out? Like, I have a
And then he said it
brand."
during the podcast. He's like, we need to cut this part.
You gotta
out."
save that
I'm
for
like,
blackmail,
we should
right?
open-
Yeah, and so like it's
I'm like, you really want to trap this guy in New York?
it's the only cut I've ever made through the history of our editing, and it wasn't even like smooth. Like it was just like a.
It was.
Just say
It
you
was ugly.
need,
It was bad.
just say you need an Aaron Judge 61st home run ball.
Yeah.
It'll
I'll be
delete
like,
the footage.
"Oh, Spencer, what happens if this gets out?" It
Wouldn't want them to know.
wasn't even, it wasn't bad.
Who do you think is going to win the tournament next year?
That's a good question. I'd say Vandy. No, I don't know. I like.
Solid.
I'm just SEC fan, even though I hate Kentucky and all those that orange school. But
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Whatever.
man, I don't know. I haven't really kept up
Let's
with.
be talking about Texas. Oh my God, I'll be talking about Texas.
I haven't really kept up with recruiting or transfers that much this year. But I mean, I always got thinking like Kansas, Kentucky, teams like that. I always go with Kentucky, regardless. Even though Cal's the worst coach in the SEC.
I feel like Arkansas.
Really? What a statement you just made.
Cal's the least talented coach in the SEC.
I've heard people say stuff like that. He's
Especially-
a phenomenal recruiter.
Oh,
He
yeah,
gets
great.
guys. I don't know if he can draw up plays.
On the court, he is horrible. He's like a cheerleader out there. He's just like clapping and cheering his players.
Like coming from
Really? You know that?
a
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, no, you can
I
literally.
mean, you're sitting there. He's playing with like an NBA team, really.
Yeah, no.
And like,
what is he gonna tell them? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he knows his
what are you
players.
gonna
Guys.
tell Anthony Davis? You know, on the court.
But like on Vandy's elevated floor, you can hear all the players yelling at each other, all the coaches. You can just hear Cal go, "Come on, guys, more hustle, all this stuff." I'm like, bro, how are you a coach?
How you
Like,
got this job?
how are you
How
in
you got this
contention for the
job?
best coach in the league? Like, you are not that good.
I feel like anytime he needs to draw up a play to win,
Yeah.
he can't get it done.
Nah,
I'll be honest.
He just
I
like
don't think he has it in him.
he's just got the players, man. I think they do all the work there, which is why they're so talented. You know.
It's the
Yeah,
Kentucky
it's-
bias.
Yeah.
It's tough. I
Yeah.
feel like that's why he let it get away
Yeah.
when
He's fallen off. I think.
he fell off. It's over. Like they're still gonna win massively.
No, absolutely.
But like
yeah.
that's what happens. That's you lose to a team like
St. Peter's.
Yeah.
You
I'll
lose to
say
St.
it.
Peters
I'll say it in the camera. They
because
lost to
you
St.
can't- because you
Peter's.
can't coach.
Yeah, and when Oscar Tshiebwe gets to take 5 steps, like you should probably win some more games. You should probably beat that 14 seed.
That's really
Who
funny.
do you think is the best coach in college basketball?
That's a good question. I don't really know too much about coaches in other leagues, but I feel like people used to say Nate Oates at Bama was the best coach, and I think he was that year.
Yeah.
But since then, that's a really good question. I can only speak on the SEC, and I think Stack is in contention. I'll say that
I think
much.
Zach's one of
that
the best
guy.
coaches in the SEC. Like
You have to think when you think of coaching. You can't look at like a team's wins and assume like coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to look at like, in my opinion anyway, you have to look at what is expected and then what happens.
Right. Right.
So like Kentucky, yeah, they're expected to win, and then
course.
they
and
won.
then they didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then they didn't. Yeah.
Where
so
it's
you're
like that
oh.
reflects poorly on Cal. You
Yeah.
can't blame their 5-star roster.
Yeah, they'll be fine in the NBA in 2 years. But like, when you look at a team like what Vanderbilt was expected to do this year, where they were expected to be, I think, the bottom of the SEC,
Yeah.
and them to be not the first of all, they were ranked. What were we, like the 9 of the
Second
tournament?
or third. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
I think the 9 in the tournament, and then to get to a point where, I mean, that was a semifinal game that you guys should have won.
Right.
Like, it reflects so positively on the coaching
Right.
that
Yeah. Like, obviously, there's a lot of talent there. Great team. Great worked out. It really says something that it can be coached to that level. Like, I think Alabama consistently has some talent, but they're so, like, inconsistent.
Right.
I think that's a coaching issue.
Yeah.
I don't think Nate Oates is a great coach.
I will say Musselman also comes to my mind as one of the best coaches, just with the energy he brings at Arkansas. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Arkansas's team.
So-
I hate that one player that takes so many charges. I can't remember his
Oh,
name.
I didn't like him at all.
They beat
But-
Gonzaga.
They're good.
I'm
They're good.
a big Gonzaga fan.
Yeah.
I was furious.
Yeah.
I watched it in that room. I watched the Gonzaga game because it was going on while we were filming. So I'm like checking the score over and over again.
He had it like
there's
propped
a
up on the
charge,
helmet.
there's a charge. I did actually. You're right. And then I went out into the room, watched it. It was horrible. They're a solid team. I hate it. I hate Arkansas.
Yeah.
I think Arkansas is a good because
darn good team.
Like a lot of their players came back. I think they have a good chance of like making a really deep run this next year.
And I
I don't
think
like it, but they do.
I think Musselman's got such a good game plan every time too.
You
Like,
guys beat Arkansas in
that was
Arkansas.
that's our best win of the year. for
Fayetteville.
sure.
Yeah.
And they had they're Arkansas fans are crazy, almost
Yeah.
crazier than Tennessee fans, but almost as
Hey.
delusional as Tennessee fans
Well, I
too.
mean, like, when all you've got in the entire state of Arkansas is a basketball team.
That's true.
Yeah, they're okay baseball team.
Yeah. No, but back to Stack, like he does definitely the most with the least. At least for the first 2 years that I was there.
Yeah.
Like this past year, I think we had more talent, but
Yeah.
like injuries killed his lineup.
Over and over again.
Yeah, so
it was tough.
Yeah, Aaron and just a couple injuries just really ruined our season. To be
It's tough.
honest. But he definitely like the amount of prep he puts into game plans and plays. It's hard for me to imagine like another coach in the SEC really stacking up to him.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of Vanderbilt basketball before I came to Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah.
But was Darius here whenever Stack was here?
No, he was the year before with Bryce Drew, and he
Okay.
was their only offense. So, offense ran through
He
Darius.
played 5 games, got hurt.
Played well. Played
He
really
played-
well.
Yeah, I mean, he was
I mean,
top 5.
The thing is the reason why I bring this up is because you look at teams that get like a lot of 5-star talent, and it's started by like a couple guys.
Right.
Like when you look at Duke, that was because Kyrie went there.
Right.
And then like after that they started like piling on the talent. And you wonder if Vanderbilt would have gotten a lot of that recognition and like like they would have gotten all those like kind of bigger name guys if Darius didn't get hurt.
Yeah, like we had Simi Shitu come in with Darius, who was another 5-star,
Yeah.
but he left after a year too. But I think, I guess the coaching turnover, but Bryce Drew's a really good recruiter too. Like that's how we got Darius here. But I don't know, like could you see Vandy becoming like a Gonzaga and just getting 5-star after 5-star? But who knows with Stack? I mean,
Anyone can do it.
I feel like
if
there's so much
Gonzaga
Nashville
can
talent.
do it,
Like I feel like there's got it. Like for instance, the Isaiah West. Like he went to Springfield.
Yeah.
Like he's from the
He went to
Nashville.
Springfield?
Yeah, he went to the same high school Liv did.
Really?
Yeah, and so he like I mean he's the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee,
yeah,
and he's going to Vanderbilt.
right.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Run him up.
having somebody like that breeds the idea in other like top prospects' heads that like, hey, Vanderbilt's a viable place to go. That makes
Right.
that'll turn me into an NBA player.
It creates the norm of Vanderbilt getting guys.
I just wish I think Brandon Miller is his name. I think he's a 5-star at Alabama or Arkansas, but I wish he came to Vandy because I think he might have been the top recruit. But if we could have gotten him, I think that would have been like an avalanche. We would have gotten everybody. But I mean, our class is looking good. We just got a top 100 center
There you go.
that was looking at Stanford and us, and so he chose us. That's the right choice. He's kind of like
As he should over Stanford.
he's kind of like
Stanford's like the Vandy of the West.
right.
The Pac-12 Vandy.
Yeah, but no, we're looking good for the future.
Definitely.
I think for sure. Yeah.
Well, we have a couple things before we wrap up. First of all, we've had every single person to ever come on the podcast sign this baseball.
Including Chris's girlfriend.
True.
She was a guest one time.
She
we
was.
were digging deep.
We
had no
were
idea
really
what to
digging
do.
deep. And so you'll join, you know,
An
the
elite
likes,
group.
an elite group of people like Spencer Jones, Ben Cox,
elite.
Julian Hernandez, Sasha Washington.
There you
That's the Barstool Vandy guy.
go. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Cam didn't sign it. Never mind. Cam is the only guy who hasn't signed it. That's because Willem forgot the jersey that day. And I've never forgiven Willem for that.
I was busy that week. We gotta get Cam whenever he's in town.
Yeah.
Good stuff. There we go.
And
as advertised, we do have the Show Em The Dore t-shirt.
Very
there we
cool.
go, baby.
That's sick, man.
yeah.
Thank y'all.
Because I didn't do it the past 2 times. Shout out to my girlfriend for making these.
These are
She
great.
made them for free. I just had to buy the stuff. So
She put in
I
that
appreciate
work.
that. Yeah.
These
Okay.
are very cool, guys. Thank you.
You have a platform. Anything you want to say to the world.
We
Cam-
average like 60 views. Like
Cam-
this will get out there. This will get out.
When we gave Cam the opportunity, he plugged his Twitch. Anything the people need to know.
I followed him on Twitch after that.
Drew Weikert 10 Instagram handle. But don't sleep on Stackhouse, man.
Don't sleep on
Don't
that.
sleep on stack.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a good episode, and we'll see you guys. We actually we'll have an episode. We'll have some
Are we
announcements
making an announcement right now?
Yeah, make the announcement, Willem.
Okay. We've lined up our next guest. We tried to line him up for last week, but Chris was sick and it ruined that.
My bad.
Our very next special guest, who will be coming out next week, is Will Shepard.
Will Shepard, number 14.
nice.
Will Shepard, baby.
It's gonna be
Awesome.
extremely
It's
hard
gonna
to
be good
follow
talk
up
to
Drew. And
He's got a high bar to clear.
he has an
This was a
immense
good episode.
This
We
was
talked
great.
for like, do you know what time it is, Chris?
Probably like 6 something.
Yeah, it is 6. We talked for a long
Oh,
time.
that's gonna take
Good
forever.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a good episode. But we've got Will. We're excited to talk to him next week. And we'll have more
went
coming.
crazy
I'm
in
going
Northern
to
Illinois
really
this past
hound these guys. Get them on this podcast.
Yeah, Willem is harassing athletes.
Yeah. I've had to sign some, some things. I'm no longer allowed within 50 yards of some people. I do my job well, is what I'm saying.
Parker Nolan has blocked me on 3 different platforms.
Dude, last year we DM'd Jordan Wright, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to come on.
I'll talk to him.
And then he never responded.
He never
to us.
responded.
We were like, hey,
He's a busy guy, man.
Are you free? And then he would see it and not say anything.
At least
And,
Parker
like,
hasn't
multiple
looked at my DMs.
But no shade to Jordan. If he wants to come on now,
We would love to have Jordan right on the
We would
podcast.
love
I'll
to
talk
see
to
you, buddy.
him. I'll talk
Do
to
you
him.
talk to Jordan?
Yeah, I do. He's in my apartment building. So I see
Really?
him. I see him walking his dog that he
Shoot.
posts with. Yeah.
He has a dog?
Yeah, he's got a
What
little
kind of
puppy.
dog
No, tell him to come on the podcast. Tell him to
Bring
do
his
it.
dog. Shoot. Okay.
All right. Well, with
This
that being
has been-
said, we will see you guys next week. This has been Show 'em the Door. See you guys.